6 months of drawing tea every day. And each one of these is different. So here we are. These are my 6 months of tea sketches. 3 sketchbooks so far. So this first one is, I'm not sure quite how you say this, Royal Sketchbook, which is pretty much an A5 landscape format. It's a little bit narrower than A5. Is watercolour paper. And I struggled with it at first in the early pages, and I wasn't quite sure whether I liked it or not. And then I kind of fell in love with it. So this is really nice stiff watercolour paper, and I'm not going to show you my first sketches in here, not that I'm ashamed of them or don't want to show you them, but this is the 6 months of tea. And it kind of started at the end of January, so this one is 28th of January. And this is just a tabletop sketch, loose pen and ink, pen and wash. There's my mug. This is the tea cozy, breakfast bowl, cereal bowl. And, you know, the messiness of a Sunday morning breakfast. So that was the end of January, 29th of January, 30th of January. And here I'm deciding that, you know, I quite like drawing my tea every morning. Let's give it a go. It's not every morning that I do it. First one, 31st, it's not the first one, we're still in January here. This is afternoon tea and crisps. And then here we are, this is February. So teapot, mug, and the tea cozy. My tea always has a tea cozy. I don't always draw it now, but in the early days I was doing it. So here we are. It's just a bit of a record of my tea every day. And as you can see, it's mainly line and wash. So I'm going to just go zooming through. And if there's anything that jumps out at me, I might tell you about it. And actually, we're going to go straight there. This works as a bit of a diary for me. So I'm in La Roque, which is in the south of France. And I had a week in France, so these are different teapots for me, and a different routine already within those first couple of weeks. And that's because, you know, I'm away with my friend and both our mothers, and so, you know, some of these sketches I'm daring to do with other people around, but you know, they make for interesting sketches and a memory and a, you know, it takes me right back. I can, you know, I know exactly where I was. Norfolk. My mum lives in Norfolk now, and so several trips to Norfolk, obviously back at mum. So yeah, Norfolk features. So we do get slightly different variations in the teapot and slightly different variations in the mug. But essentially it's a teapot and mug every day, and each one of these is different. You know, it's from a slightly different angle. The way the marker's gone down on the paper is slightly different. And this is the end of the sketchbook here. So 27th of February, this sketchbook finishes. 28th of February, starting my new sketchbook. This is a Sea White of Brighton. It's not watercolour paper, so it is a bit more crinkled than the other one. Because the paper was slightly thinner, I did try putting some paint down first of all. I thought, right, okay, I'm going to put ground down first of all. I'm not sure whether this is gesso or it is gesso because I've written it here. So this is gesso and some colour underneath, just to see if I can get a bit of variation. And then I decided I didn't like it. This is a Lamy and Biro, so I'm doing 2 tools in one hand for this sketch. And this has got gesso underneath as well. Again, we're away, so we're up in Derbyshire. I'm up in Derbyshire with family. So they're again different teapot. There wasn't a tea cozy there, so it's a tea towel wrapped around keeping the tea warm. I'm trying again with different inks again with the ground. Don't really like it, but it's a memory. Trying different things, 2 tools in one hand. Again, 2 tools in one hand. Trying with a bit of collage. I do like to use a bit of collage, but I haven't used it much in these last 6 months for these projects. So I quite like these spreads. I've got paint scraped on here. I think I pre-loaded these pages, quite a few pages. So yeah, these are scraped with white paint. This is what I call my Chinese teapot. I actually was given it by when I was a teenager. I had a German exchange friend, and she gave me the teapot. So that teapot's been with me for a very long time. Trying some different things. This is one of my ceramic teapots that I made. I did a bit of ceramics in the past, and the clay still waves at me now and again, although I don't have a kiln anymore. This is a tiny little teapot that I found in a charity shop. I thought it would be fun to have a go with doing some different shaped teapots. And this is where I start doing my blind contour drawings and start getting really funky shapes and more abstract teapots. Back to the line and wash. Oh, this is from photos. So I didn't, yeah. So this one was a photo reference. I'm thinking I don't recognise that teapot, looking back at it now. This is a visit to Wimpole Hall. I've got some midwinter mugs, midwinter pottery in Stonehenge, and I've got some mugs, and really would love a teapot. So that is from reference. But I have the cups, I have the mugs. Another sketch from reference. More sketches from reference. I'm trying to look for different teapots and mugs. Not necessarily my own. These are from reference. And then after a while, I do go back to my own teapot and mugs. That's one that I'm not sure if it is actually a teapot, but it's kind of cute. It's quite funky. So that's one I acquired at some stage. Another one from reference. This is from one of my own reference photos. So that's Moroccan mint tea when I went to Marrakesh a few years ago. Back to mine, that's a reference one. This is staying with my daughter. This is pasted in from a mini sketchbook that I have. I always have a notebook mini sketchbook in my bag, and yeah, so we had afternoon tea out, and so I did my tea sketch in there, but I thought, no, I'm going to paste it in. My teapot on the shelf again, my ceramic teapot, midwinter ones again. So I'm looking at different teapots and mugs. Back to the blind contour drawings and abstract type teapots. These ones are very quick and easy to draw. You don't need to spend much time on them at all. Each one is different, and it surprises me every time. So here we are, we're at the end of May. So that's that one. And this is my latest sketchbook. So this is a Art Gecko A5 with medium cartridge paper at a 150 GSM. So usuals. At this stage, I'm just doing my own teapot and mug every morning, every day. Not necessarily in the morning, sometime during the day. It tends to be either a quick line and wash now, or the or the continual line drawings. We're into June, and some of these are out and about ones. This is a National Trust property. This is now July. And what I love about this is the fact that every day is a different sketch. It doesn't matter that you're doing the same reference image, you know, basically it's the same teapot and mug shape every morning, every day. But each one of these pictures, each one of these drawings, each one of these sketches is different, and I love it. This is end of July, so I made some onion ink, and I've got that process on YouTube, so if you want to check out the video, then do. So this is my onion ink. I did it with pen first of all, and then with a brush. It's just with a brush, and this one was with a cotton bud. So I'm trying out different implements, and then I had bought myself some new nibs for my dip pen, and so I was trying these out. So this is not homemade ink, but peat brown ink, and then this is with a drawing ink rather than my usual ink in my Lamy pen for these sorts of ones. It's carbon ink. Onion ink with dip pen and water, with water and brush. This is on wet paper, so it's splodged. I like the way that's bled. The lines have moved. Back to continual line drawings. And this is the end of July. So I'm now in August, so I've got my August ones. But February, March, April, May, June, July, 6 months. So I've got quite a body of work here, and I love it. You know, it's giving me practice every day. It's giving me routine every day. It's giving me a body of work that I'm going to put that back in there. Body of work that I can refer to if I want to do any further painting, drawing, sketching. I could scan any of these ones and use them as, you know, digital prints, and it's giving me practice. And also trying out the different paper. So looking back at this one, I really do like the watercolor paper. It just gives I like the bolder, darker line on it. Some of them are in this one, some of them are with a chisel pen. I don't know if I can find one that is. This one is probably, actually the France ones probably are, because I didn't take my Lamy pen out to France because I didn't know how it was going to fly. So these ones are with the chisel pen. So these ones are me getting used to a new implement as well. So yeah. So there we go, 6 months of drawing tea every day.